Hello YouTube, this is Sibbles and Bits back at it again with another Arcanium run. So we're going to start off with the question for the comments down below. And the question for today, especially hot off the press of the last run, do you get salty in video games? Like, clearly, I even admitted it in the video, I did get kind of salted. Salty, of course, meaning frustrated, tilted, uh, upset, I guess is a way to say it. Like, just you get salty when things don't go the way that you perceive that they should. And it's generally synonymous with tilt, which generally also means like you're upset and now you're not properly able to even make rational decisions, right? And I would say that generally speaking, I don't really get salty in games. I do not mind losing, like, at all, in most cases. MOBAs, I'm perfectly fine with losing. I just want it to be a close match. If I play a lot of Back for Blood in the highest difficulty on pubs, I lose all the time. That's perfectly fine. I don't mind that. It's more, I don't mind losing so long as I have a learning opportunity to glean from it. Like if I'm playing a MOBA, right? What did I do wrong? Did I make bad decisions? Was I using my cooldowns correctly to protect the team? Because I usually play tank. In Back for Blood, like I said, usually every run is a failure. So looking at, was there something that I could have done to improve the experience and possibly save the run? And usually when I go back and look at things, it's like, no, okay, we were perfectly healthy because I main medic in that game. Everyone was perfectly healthy. Somebody just made a big mistake and it just cost us the run and everybody got wiped like almost instantly. But even there, like, could I have possibly situated myself to spawn block for the team to give us more time? Did I neglect the challenge cards that were in play that I could have chosen a different card to help out? Was it actually the right move to have everybody be healthy? Did I possibly waste heals that could have been used in the middle of the encounter? So losing doesn't get me salted. The thing that generally gets me salted is, I don't want to say the actions of other people, because it's perfectly okay, in my opinion, for someone to be bad. Everybody's new at the game. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're like legitimately not good. It's okay to be bad. It's just a problem to, I would say, intentional, intentionally being bad, either due to being toxic and just straight up neglecting your team, or being in the mindset that something's not your job and then getting salted in return when that job is not completed. Especially in a team like team games like MOBAs, like you've got that carry mentality, right? That's like, oh yeah, why weren't you watching out for me? And the person like clearly went off without their team and just got smacked, so they're starting to be toxic with everybody. Um, at that point, it depends on how long is it my problem. Is it like, say, a Heroes of the Storm match and it's only going to last like maybe 15 minutes? Then, well, in 15 minutes it's going to be over. So we're going to use the rest of this as a learning opportunity to maybe work on refining my play, or how I can combo up with another player. Same thing pretty much in Back for Blood. It's possible that one person's mistake can end the run, but the other thing is by playing Back for Blood in pubs, it's almost like doing randoms in Arcanium. I can't control all the variables, and therefore I'm going to be put up in situations that may not necessarily be optimal, especially when you got people who are deciding that maybe they're not playing their builds optimally. Maybe they don't care that there's already like 2 people playing melee. They're deciding to go melee too. That doesn't really get me salted because that's an opportunity to learn as well. There's many times that I've been playing in pubs on Back for Blood and someone will alert a horde, which again can end the game. But despite only having 2 or 3 people alive, we're able to get out of it pretty much unscathed. And so then I'm able to download that into my playbook and be like, okay, like this is a pretty good location, especially if I'm spawn blocking here or doing this. Same thing in Arcanium, right? We had some crippling losses yesterday. The first one was entirely my fault, but there was some subplay that I saw in there when I was reviewing the footage afterwards, and we were able to learn something very important, namely being, don't take Soul Stealer when you have minions, because Soul Stealer elites will life leech off of minions, and that was one of the main contributors to, I would say actually the number one contributor to my loss, because I was under the assumption that my team was going to shield very well, and initially I thought that he was life stealing through the shield, but that wasn't the case, and I just kept putting up minions and pretty much killed myself. But now I've suffered a crippling defeat, and I now have that in my knowledge bank. So as long as you're able to learn something, it's good. Okay, this is an interesting team. We have a lady, so we're going to be doing fine. Question is what do we do with Shinzo and Ragnarok? This is actually a very tanky team. Honestly, like I said, I'm not concerned about what I'm doing with Lady. Lady, she's very versatile. She can pivot into a number of good offensive and defensive strategies. She could, again, the one run that we lost that got to part 3, she can easily be our primary tank. But obviously I don't think that that's the play here, because well, it'd be a little weird when you got Ragnarok and Shinzo to have her be the primary tank, but you never know what's going to happen in a roguelike. But I think the move here is that we give Shinzo Rumbling Shout. She can probably have... just put Pounce on there. We'll rotate you over to Reptarian Army. So now I'm looking at my colors here, and what I'm seeing is we likely don't want to go to Anador because of the damage that we're dealing. Purple damage is relatively fine in Anador because there's only like I think 1 or 2 enemies that resist it, and red is completely free in Anador, and this is her primary, like actual primary damage dealing color. We could almost, especially since we're going Reptarian Army, we could take this into... we could take this into Scorched Lands. Scorched Lands has mostly purple enemies. A couple of red enemies that would pose a bit of a problem. They also have Dark Rangers, which I hate very much. And then like 1, 2 blue enemies, which I'm not really Like, it's 50% red and blue and pretty much 50% purple. Granted, the red enemies are absolutely terrible, and the blue enemies are annoying. But if we go here, we get a free card. I think we put it on Lady because pretty much all of her commons are absolutely fantastic. If we get Touche, now we've got blue damage that also shield steals and makes her incredibly tanky. If we end up getting, honestly, any red card, that's just good damage. But she really doesn't have a problem with damage. I've been mathing it out. Her average starting hand does almost as... It does reliably more single target damage than Aurora does, if you don't count like the full length of the DOTs of her burn. We'll go ahead and do this. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, the fact that these were all blues is ridiculous. I'm not sure that we need Thrust. It's a great card. In fact, like, to be honest, I keep saying, like, great, decent cards. I legitimately... Like, I look at cards in this game, and I see that all of them are at least close enough in balance that it doesn't really matter that some are strictly better than others. Like, obviously, yes, you would want a better card, but if you're stuck with, like, commons, you can still, like, easily win the game. I have a run that I got on tablet that I will be uploading at some point, probably this weekend, that I pretty much just 100%ed the boss on turn 1 with just common cards. So the only the only problem is you can't really reliably get a common because there are so many commons. Anyways, I think that we want counterattack. Outplay is very nice. Like, it's pretty incredible. Being able to get 2 might for every red card means that our double strikes go to the moon. And then, of course, we have Pounce as her ultimate. So if she opens up with that, she's going to put down Vulnerable, 2 might, and then she just starts doing, like, ridiculous damage. And she's going to be our primary damage dealer. But having blue damage that also crits, like, this is incredible damage. And all something has to do is be targeting us. We can abuse some taunts. We can use dashes. This is very easy and good damage. I know I'm going to regret not taking that outplay. I think we can go with 10 cards. A Loot Cage is pretty good. Explore 20 tiles in Osier. Do we actually head over there? I don't think we do. I think once we get built, we head over to Anador. Especially for 2 upgrades. Oh, rip that. So our start is relatively good. We can go for this assault battle here and probably unlock this loot cache. Any item would pretty much be great because it'll allow us to, well, I mean, if it's damage, we kill things faster. And if it's defense, then we take less damage. Those are both things that we want. Unfortunately, there was another fight there. Goblin Looter sucks, but this honestly isn't bad. The only thing that I'm worried about is all the hex that might be coming. There we go. Unfortunately, she has no block, but is that actually even going to matter? Oof. Like, we almost killed. Fact. Still think we can kill. A little wonky, and she's going to take some damage, but it's not like I'd be able to avoid this damage on Ragnarok anyways. Like, a Cleaver Strike would still have him take 4. So we'd might as well take that 5 damage on Lady, and then she'll only take 3 damage, as opposed to him taking 5 or 4. We'll go over here and we'll finish this up. I'm going to keep 1 AP for next turn because we haven't drawn any summons, and they're likely to be in our next hand. Here we go. So, Thorns are a bit suffer. Oh. Gonna do this to get that damage out there. That's just good damage. Next turn he's dead. Not much we can do about this guy here. Shinzo having resilience means that he's also very strong against backlash, and it's quite useful. How did you take damage? Did you take damage when we took Thorns? Oh no, when you attacked. Okay. Confused for a second there. Doesn't matter. Look at that. Fight's over. This is strictly a better Fléché strike, in my opinion. It even doubles as an upgrade. I actually did not know that. But being able to apply Vulnerable as your first card, as a red card on Lady, means a lot of damage. Giving range to Shinzo and Ragnarok, that's green, is also incredibly good. I feel like I always have something good to say about any card. Like I said, it's entirely situational, and especially at the start of a run, you can go almost anywhere. But I don't think we need this because she's not going to be our primary tank. It would be good for her own defenses, but we already have blue cards, which is going to give her shields. I think if anything, we just grab more damage. But being able to replace a Cleaver Strike on Ragnarok would be very good right now. So I think we take Nature Bolt. How does this upgrade? 50%. That's normal. Not really concerned again. We're looking pretty good after that last one. We just blammed down that Goblin Looter in 1 turn. This is the hand we were looking for. We'll just go ahead and dish out the damage here. Fortunately, we need to open with this, then these. Oh, and he's red, so that was actually quite misfortunate. Still, I'll gladly take 2 there. I think we just make sure that he dies next turn. Oh, he just pulled. That's me not thinking. Just took 4 extra damage for that. This is how we do this. Look at that. He's gonna take the Hex. Yeah, eating 4 damage that we could have avoided there was pretty silly on my part. Hopefully we don't come to regret it. A lot of damage. I was just talking about how we didn't need more shield, but parry plus, it's a 1 cost retain for the same amount of shield. Of course, this one can crit if we've used dash or teleport, but we have to use it on that turn and it costs 2. I almost actually think we take out play. Oh, this one's tough. If we get an upgrade on this, it'll only cost 1. So it'll cost us somewhere around 4 to 6 damage on 1 turn to gain just better shielding and damage on other turns. I think we take this. And with that, we actually do get rid of one of these. If we actually had expire effects, this would be pretty good. This is crazy on Lady. And I mean, like, anything else. Like, stealth whenever you destroy an enemy is pretty good. The problem with it is, it's really only good on ranged people. Because if I kill the person in melee, right, then who's actually targeting me for me to actually benefit from stealth? If you're ranged and you kill someone, like, say, from left lane into middle lane, then you will redirect the damage that is already aimed at you in your lane, and the next turn as well. So it's just situational, but we don't really have a lot of range damage to actually use this, whereas this is immediately useful for us. And combined with outplay, we're actually going to scale a lot of damage. I actually don't think that we need this. Like, this would add a lot of damage. I don't think that Shinzo and Ragnarok can actually... Ragnarok can, because we gave him Nature Bolt. But on an average turn, they're going to get nowhere near 10 damage. And that's why this card's pretty good. But I haven't really mentioned it, I believe. You got to be careful about these shrine buffs where you're putting cards into your deck, because it is going to slow your deck down. Now on Lady, this is 10 damage and, in this case, 2 might. So it's actually a very good card to get. But on the other 2 characters, like, maybe, right? But if it's slowing them down because they can't grab their defense cards, or in Ragnarok's case, his minion cards or whatever he's going for, this could potentially actually be quite dangerous. Sunder's great, but we get a lot of shield break and piercing with this squad. I don't necessarily think that we need to do this. Chance for upgraded abilities, though, is absolutely fantastic. I cannot... It's one thing to grab a card and be like, oh, okay, I need to upgrade this. So then you have to use an opportunity cost to do it, and sometimes that'll be upgraded. So you're like, oh, okay, like, this was a good upgrade that I got for free. That's great value. The thing that I really like about this is you have a chance for even cards that you normally wouldn't want to upgrade, get upgraded. And that's still a 50% effectiveness. So even if a card may not necessarily be as good as, like, say, a starter card or a card you have, if it's upgraded, it can provide some serious output. especially on like your block cards. You always need better block cards, but generally speaking, you're not going to use upgrades on block cards unless you have like really bad block cards and didn't get any. This is fantastic. I almost take this every single time. Wrath would probably be a very close second, just so that we can take down these breaches and elite battles and just start leveling up right now. Oof. They're all really good. Again, I feel like I say that every time. But Curse Flask Plus. Unfortunately, it's purple. In the area that we're at. But even then, we could use it to focus on things that aren't purple. And 5 Hex is, what is it, 15 damage over the course of its lifetime, during which we're likely going to draw this again. And this enables us to activate the artifact that can be found here that is crit on Hex. I think there's a couple other things that you can do on Hex, like, no, you can't leech life off of Hex, but regardless, this enables a crit. I believe I said it last video, but I may not have. Getting crits on your damage dealer is like your primary goal. You can get by without it, but it's doubling your damage. So I'm not taking this necessarily just because it enables the crit. It's also a lot of damage. Otherwise, I would probably consider Templar Rush. Warcry's good. In fact, again, these are pretty much neck and neck, but it would be between Curse Flask and Templar Rush. Mainly because this is going to be our primary tank, so giving him cards that allow him to tank better. This is as much shield as he gets from... What the heck is that card? Sacred Bulwark? It's actually more shield than he gets from Sacred Bulwark. And it's a dash, so he's able to actually like go in front of somebody else. Then of course he's using a card, so he gets access to One Resilience. Minions are a great way to scale Ragnarok. He's honestly the best person to do it, but as much as I respect a 3 damage, 3 shield, over these other options, it doesn't compare, in my opinion. It is a retain though, which is pretty nice, and it's low cost, which is the primary reason why I would consider taking it, but again, not against these. I'm going to take Curse Flask. A buckshot. Oh, man. If Dodge was upgraded, this would be almost insta-buy. I'm not willing to spend 125 of my gold for a better Fléché Strike. And this is, for the AP cost, this is a better Vicious Strike, but it does have the combo, which is going to get us a little bit, because someone else has to use a red card, and so that person has to be lady specifically. So right now this isn't very, these aren't very appetizing, but otherwise they're, again, great cards. Being able to do 4 range damage on some people is very nice. Lady doesn't actually have a lot of range, and then it deals critical damage, so it's pretty decent. If I was to buy anything here, it would be the Vicious Strike, but again, I'm not going to spend my only money on that when I could need it for an in. Now, we've already used 5 threat, which is unfortunate, but we are close to a level. Here's what I'm thinking. We need to unlock this, that we have access to our capital. Then I almost think... Don't necessarily need the Oracle right now. We have everything we want. Maybe we would use it for an upgrade on Outplay. That'd be about it. But we can also use 200 to upgrade here and upgrade Outplay. I think what we do is we take this Assault Battle, we take this Breach Elite Battle, and then see where we're at. That event is nice too. You know, for only being one of the enemies, it seems like Goblin Looter always shows up here. Except when he doesn't, and it's 3 Dark Rangers. That said, I shouldn't complain because there has been no Dark Rangers. This was poor positioning. I always click the start button because monkey neurons activate, but I should have put Shinzo over here so that he could have backlashed on this guy. Might be able to still make that work though. Little something like... Oh, we should probably do this. I'm gonna take some damage this turn, but it's just a little unfortunate. Help with the damage on there. Yeah, I lost 1 AP just because of that. In fact, I probably should have used Shinzo's for that, but this is going to almost full block. My hubris cost us like 2 damage. Thankfully, we have this here, because we are likely not going to be able to kill this man. I'm not even sure that I'm going to try. I ult you. Oh my good lord. Wait, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Because we're getting 3 now with outplay. So if I vulnerable you, you will be at 13. Another red card, so we'll have another 3. Oh, you're dead. Good lord. So, you might hear me talk about, like, damage a lot, right? It's not necessarily that damage is the most important thing, but you have to consider the longer you're in a fight, especially during the start of the game where your decks are weak, right? Like, we're getting 2 Reptorian Swarms and can't really do anything with Ragnarok here. We'll do this. Probably should have done that first and then done this because this guy's dead. Oh no, we should have done that. That's interesting. So while I wouldn't necessarily say that like damage is everything, right? Because there's other ways to win the game. If you can get high damage early and just eliminate someone off the battlefield, that's somebody who's not ulting for 14 in an AoE, or I believe it's 4 times 3 in an AoE. Ulting you for, I think right now, the Armored Spider Guns would be doing 15 forward. Probably like 25 actually, but it's a lot of damage that you now have to solve and block when your characters may not even have block cards. So early on, it's kind of like Slay the Spire, where you can solve the game through damage, but once you start getting into, like, say, medium difficulty and difficult difficulty, or Act 2 and Act 3 as I call it, you can't really blow everything up, and you're going to take an ult. So at that point, you really have to have your defenses in order, in my opinion at least, when you start taking, you know, shard battles, stuff like that. Because you go into a shard battle or an elite battle, well, unless you're really built that early, you're not going to just turn 1, blow up a shard battle boss. Anyways, got a little distracted there. Let's get to this. Honestly, quite misfortunate. Okay. doubted my math for a second there. So, we were talking about Templar Rush. Vault is Templar Rush, except it's purple and neutral. So, instead of just using an action point in order to move Ragnarok around, we can now actually gain some shield and just get some good value out of this. And then it upgrades to draw 1 card. Otherwise, Voracious Bite is just a better chomp. So it wouldn't be a bad take, especially because we're at least thinking right now that we're going to scale using minions. And so if a minion takes any damage, especially since we have vulnerable, this can go up to 6 without upgrading it. And just giving 6 health to any minion in his lane makes them very durable. And minions are basically just shield. So the longer that we can keep a minion in front of Ragnarok, the more that he's protected. Reburn's very good. Like, QT's very good, especially in the area that we're at. There's not a lot. There's only 2 red enemies. So if we were to be able to stack a burn, that would do a lot of damage fast. Otherwise, this is just 6 damage for 1 AP, because I don't think anybody up here cleanses even. So, I mean, it's a good rate. It's an amazing rate. And then, of course, this would enable burns, but those relics are down in Uzir where we are not. We're currently debating going up to Anador, so this loses some value just because of where we're planning on going. We'll take Vault. Ragnarok needs some actual defense instead of just placing minions in front of him for 2 action points. I also forgot to throw in Curse Flask. That's quite silly of me. I almost think we take this event now. So, if we go here, we'll level up. It is likely going to be... It might even be AP on Ragnarok. That's crazy. Could be draw on Lady. Could be AP on Shinzo. That way, if he gets 2 taunts and a Sacred Bulwark, he can at least do some damage and shield pretty well. I think we put it on Shinzo. Oh my good lord, the events. I will actually pay 100 gold for that essence. 100%. 1 battle will bring us up to 200. And I still think that that battle is this Elite Breach battle. I could see it being here. Upgrade Outplay. That would be 7, 8. We could take an early Shard battle after healing, because we should get enough. So we can take an early Shard battle at 9, and then see how good we do, and then contemplate another one. Go with that. Although those elite battles would be giving us artifacts, which is probably what we actually need right now. It's not like I'm afraid of the elite battles. Okay, we're gonna just try and do a heck of a lot of damage here. Yeah. I'm fine with him taking this Hex because he's going to get Resilience and pretty much negated. Probably should have kept that AP there. Oh, baby. Now, how do we get you here? I am actually willing to take this 3 damage. It should be 1, though. It's not. I gain shield after I attack. Good to know. So I think I do this, this, this. This is a little embarrassing. We do it like this, though. This is over. That actually wasn't bad at all. So, for where we're at, these are both better cleaver strikes. We're not doing anything with taunt, so riposte actually isn't... this is one of the rare exceptions of a rare card that actually isn't good. Like, it's retained 5 damage. It's not that bad, but usually you'll have an enemy targeting you, and then this is actually pretty decent. But sometimes you don't. And I suppose that's why it's a retain. Never mind. Riposte is okay, but since we don't have taunt, we really can't get this to pop off. So, and the other thing is that we've already got great damage on Lady, and I don't want to put a 2 cost in her deck if I can avoid it. Because the idea is that now, since we have Outplay, we want to play lots of cards, because that's going to equate to more efficiency, and as if we had played better cards. At least for now. So since both of these are basically better Cleaver Strike, it's a 2 cost, just like Cleaver Strike. This one actually applies better weak and does more damage, and it's green, which is incredibly important for where we're at right now, because he's got a lot of purple damage, and it doesn't really help us because of the fact that half the enemies are purple, right? So his primary source of dealing damage is just having minions that deal green damage, and he's got 1 Nature Bolt. Otherwise, he's literally just our positioner, which is still, it's good. Being able to put Lady where she needs to be if she doesn't have a dash, making sure that Shinzo is in the right lane. But I would much rather just have him have a chunky source of damage. And again, just like I stated with Riposte, where some cards are good without having to have their effect. Since this is already upgraded, this is 6 damage per AP, which is on par with Nature Bolt. So since this came upgraded, it's probably significantly better than Sneak Attack. And possibly even Nature Bolt, because if we have any minion in our lane, we get a little bit of extra damage. It's sort of like a little crit for taking attack command. We're going to replace our last... We actually didn't have one. We're going to keep down to 10. I was considering removing a Chomp, but not until we get an action point on him. Now we're going to upgrade that outplay. Again, I could upgrade 2 random cards, but the fact that we're trying to get rid of Cleaver Strikes and Chomps because of where we're at, I really don't want those to get hit. And so that means that about a quarter of our cards are bad upgrade targets. So choosing 2 at random and just hoping that they're relatively good, it's not a very sustainable strategy. So we'll just get one that's going to allow us to really pop off. Okay, we're going to take our early elite. We shouldn't take our early shard battle. We shouldn't take this one. Because if this is a battle and we get clobbered here, we won't be able to heal. So we need to look for one that's relatively free, which would be this guy right here. Oof, and we even got a shrine afterwards. Unlock a camp, but he gains tentacles. We actually have a lot of dash. I think this is almost free. The only problem is that it's not necessarily about being rooted, right? It's like I said about the shrine buff. It's putting a bunch of 0-cost cards in our deck, and we have relatively small decks right now. So if Lady does her 3-hit combo, right, where she's going to dash in and then do a double strike, maybe she used outplay that turn, so she's not going to do anything more. We're going to get 3 of these in our deck, and that is now 25% of our deck is just a dead draw. So I honestly don't think that we do this. I really want to do this, though. A camp would really pop us off, because then we could actually... We could get away with doing 2 random if it was theoretically free like this. Otherwise, I could see us... If we're going to give an AP to Ragnarok, I could see us upgrading his Vault for a draw. I could see us upgrading counterattack for even more damage. And we haven't really gotten anything for Shinzo? Come on, man. But even if any of Shinzo's cards got hit with a random upgrade, we always want him to taunt, so gaining 50% more damage on this is, you know, it's nice. Seismic Strike already does very good damage, so getting more damage is good. And Sacred Bulwark is... It turns it into an actual decent block for 2 for 6. And then it also has Backlash. Hold up. Yeah. So I think we could do a camp. Because we don't really have anything that we... It would be Vault or random. And if we get absolutely smattered, then we can just do the spot or the wide heal. Question is can we face race this guy because of the 1 might in an area? We could wait until he's trying to weaken us or give Backlash and just beat the snot out of him, but depending on which enemies he gets... Okay, we're not going to do this. Talking out loud is OP because I probably just... Yep, Dark Ranger. I probably just saved the run by not doing that. And he's no slouch either. Tell you what, I definitely don't want to do it. I think this is a fight where we kill the ads first. But in the meantime, we can at least poison you. It'll do 10 damage, which is not nothing. I probably should have let Shinzo do his attacks there first. Although we're probably going to take damage here, so we're going to bulk up. I almost legitimately think that we block for him here. This will count as a hit, so we don't want to do this. Also, they're all purple and we have Cursed Flask, which is kind of suffer. So I actually don't think that we use that at all. We're going to use Nature Bolt on this man. So I legitimately want this man dead as soon as possible. And that honestly might mean doing this. It's 3 damage, it's 3 damage. Okay, this is actually quite good. We're gonna have to take this hit on him. Gonna crit. We want to get as much damage on it as possible. Oof. Not yet. Shh. This will be fine though. Gotta believe me. Oh, he wasn't targeting, so it did less damage. That was silly of me. Now I think we go for the kill on this man. I just need to make sure to not do much damage. I did too much damage. I am a fool. Oi. That's rough. So how her relic works, it's per hit with red cards. So I gained 1 on the first hit, and then the second hit brought him exactly to 25 when he's going to stealth. And it scuffed us. This is pretty good. Oh, she's rooted. Oh, jeez. This honestly might be us. I wasn't paying enough attention. I shouldn't have done that. Should have sent her this way. Because I don't know how we kill this man without our damage. Well, we can start with this, I guess. I actually could have saved this. The vault could have put him here, used Chomp. Oh wait, no, that wouldn't have done enough damage. But we at least could have put a minion here. Boy. Well, you two, that's another loss, I guess. No way we're killing this, man. The only thing to possibly do would be to... That wouldn't even do it. If we made Rag take the hit. And now the thing is, too, we have 4 health. So we can't even, like, go into this lane to do anything. So as soon as he hits for his ulti, we're done. Well, that's upsetting. We're not salty, though. That's an important distinction. Be able to get another one of these in here quick. Interesting. What do I honestly do with this team? Obviously we have Aurora, so she's likely going to be our win condition, but not necessarily. Currently have the Solar Beam or Disintegrate. Rotate. See how that does anything. Where do we take these guys? It's weird. I almost think we go into Azir. It has red and yellow enemies, which, with Aurora being our primary damage dealers, actually quite suffer. But that's also where all of our enabling... If we're assuming that we're going to be doing fire, right? Or burn. That's where all of our enabling cards are. But maybe we don't. Maybe instead what we do... We take this to Anador. Because she has no resistances there besides maybe a couple of yellow enemies. Then of course we get more health. We're going to need cleanse here though. That is a fact. But we have green and yellow allies. So cleanse isn't too much of a ask. 20 tiles in Anador for 2 upgrades, that's pretty nice. I don't quite know if we're going to be going over to Scourge Land, so we might just ignore those 2 quests. Again, since this is the second run in a day, we're going to try and wrap this up. That artifact's going to help, so is this item. This item's probably going to help more, especially if we're going here taking a bunch of poison damage. We want this fight to be as quick as possible. So we might actually take this Alchemist, then come down here. We'll see what this gives. A Shrine's nice too. This is kind of what we didn't want to see, is a yellow enemy in the center, but that's also not too bad. One thing's for certain, I don't want the Force Crawler to be here, so I'm going to try and nuke it off the map. Because it does poison, and I don't like that. This is a good damage hand. How much do I want this dead? That's the question I gotta ask myself. Well, one thing's for certain. Leon's doing this. And I think we do this. 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 Because that'll be blocked later. Whereas Cleaver Strike's not really going to do much for us. The question is how quickly do I want this dead? Because it's the distinction of, do I deal 4 extra damage to it, or do I deal extra damage to everything? I think honestly the right move is to do the AoE. And now I think we do the opposite. First off, block like this. Leon can take care of himself. Hopefully. We have Savagery. That's all minions though. That's pretty nice. So if you're actually going to take 6 damage, this is a given. I think we do that, because you're going to ult next turn. And now I actually don't have to worry about you, because the minion will finish him. Now we can base race this guy over here. I guess we deal the damage while you're not resilient. Alright. Ooh! This is an unfortunate hand for when you have an elusive. However, we do have our ultimate. I think we'll be fine. Look at that. Everything worked out perfectly. It's not really taunting though. So him having backlash and resilience. Resilience is pretty nice though. You know what? One thing that I do need to test. Maybe this isn't the time to do it. Does resilience, because last video we found out that toughness does not reduce the damage that minions in front of you take. But at least on mobile, immune does. So does resilience do that as well? And that would be interesting data to have. So we're going to go ahead and take this. It's also upgraded, which is kind of nice. The best thing that he's going to get to a block card too, besides barrel roll, which admittedly is free, and it's teleport. Want that. Arcana Shrine. Abundance will just make sure that we never have a bad starting hand. Or it'll reduce it, right? And then of course we cycle through our deck even faster if we get +1 draw in any manner. Then we'll draw 5 cards, draw 4 cards the next turn, and then if we have 9 in our deck, we will then shuffle through. And so if we have a win condition, That enables us to get to it faster. Otherwise, draw clarity is really only a +1 because, again, let's assume that we have 9 cards, which is probably the best scenario. We will now have 10 cards, and so unless it goes to the bottom of our deck, every third turn, basically, on average, we're going to be able to draw another 2, which this is a card, so we're going to be able to draw up to 1 to 4 cards. So then let's say it's on our second turn, that's 7 cards, and then the one thing that this would do, if our draw is 3, and we have a deck of exactly 9 cards, this will allow us to shuffle in to our next hand on the third hand. And that's important. Again, it gives you a chance of getting your win condition again, but I could see that if you had a lot of like combo going, like stuff that required other things to be played. On Lady, I think that that'd be very good, especially because this is a blue card, so or Shinzo, because this would be a free resilience on Shinzo. On Lady, this is 2 shield. I think that those would be particularly good, but otherwise I don't think that we take this. But I didn't think about the fact that drawing into your third hand with a shuffle is actually very important. Huh. I'll have to consider that later. Prices at vendors reduced. This would pretty much just put us down to normal prices because prices have been increased by 25%. I think we take abundance. Take the alchemist? Didn't. Good to have a campfire nearby. Having a minion. Relatively good. Hex is also very good because no enemies here. Well, there's a couple of purple enemies. So that enables us to DOT down things. DOTs are especially good in breach battles because if you can stack them on an enemy, they'll stay there when they turn into a breach barrel. So then it'll tick on the next turn too. So if you're able to stack up a lot of this, it makes those very easy. Otherwise, like 8 damage is not to be disrespected either, but I don't think it's as good as 10 damage, 10 purple damage, or a minion. Especially since we have Rag, so we can stack. I think we take the minion. Take another minion? Maybe. Maybe, honestly. Be a little silly. But when we get his first ultimate, we can place both of these down. And then we have 2 8/8s. Which is pretty good ramp, honestly. Be a little weird. Take a peek at this. I think we might be able to take a defense battle. We unfortunately loosed out on that. Can't always get what you want. This is the exact same as our first fight. Thankfully, we're a little stronger now. The one thing that starting with 5 cards does is it makes us very likely to get the Scorch, Scorch, Scorch starting hand, which is her best damage, honestly. We also need to note that we are poisoned full time. Is by design. Not panic. Just gonna burn these right away is what we're gonna do. Excuse me. There we go. That's a good get. Did we kill? No, we can't play all three of these. So here's our test. I'll take that. This fight should be over next turn. Oh, I forgot to look. Dealt 0 Arcana damage. Applied 1 Sunder. Dealt his 5 damage to Reptorian Swarm. Spawn. So, did not affect him. Done. Giving Ragnarok Dash would be interesting. I think, though, he has a lot of high cost. We should probably put a barrel roll in there. Aurora has nothing to do with draw cards right now, so I don't know if we take Sprint. They're all incredibly good. I'm always triggered, not necessarily, but would enable us to take red combo cards, or purple combo cards, or blue combo cards. But immediately, we're finding some pressure in a lot of Aurora's hands where we can't... There's a lot of hands where we can't even play 2 cards. So having Ornate Quiver will enable that, and it'll even... It basically lets us play another card every turn, in most cases. Otherwise, Vanguard. Vanguard Helm is so good on Leon, because he's primarily blue. And so he's getting free shield, resilience, makes him incredibly tanky. I almost feel like I should be taking this, but take this. None of these are appetizing. We have at an Oracle. First off, equip that. Spiked Carapace is already upgraded, so we wouldn't do that. Barrel roll upgraded? 7 shield's pretty good, but we honestly have such decent cards. We can afford to do 2 random here, but I would much prefer to save this for an artifact that we're not using. Question is, how do we get to a shard battle? Well, that's technically an Anador. We can go down here. Brood Sentinels are not fun. And here it is, the Triple Scourge. I think that we just try and kill this thing before it ults. Although, Brood Sentinel shouldn't be slept on, but I don't think that it's going to be that big of a deal. If we do Scorch, 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 though, then we cannot play another card. So I almost think that we do Solar Blast, Scorch, Scorch. But this will be 6 damage this turn, 5 damage the next. It's really not going to be enough, to be honest. But it's going to do more damage than Solar Blast, except in these lanes where they need help dealing damage. Still think that we do this. And that'll give us +1 on the next turn. So next turn we're definitely going to be able to... So we'll have 4. We'll be able to save another AP for when we draw through. I don't think that we take all that damage. I would really like another minion because it's unfortunate that Ragnarok's dealing green damage here. Okay. Oh jeez, is doing the combo. And this is red damage, which again, due to our area, is incredibly nice. I don't even think that I want to up him. If anything, we should do that. Kind of weird that we moved back over here to deal our damage. Do though. Oh, that'll kill. Now, obviously, this isn't an elite battle, but we're handling these very nice. Burn. Burn is pretty spookums. But this is a win condition. Currently, we don't even have a card on her. At least take this. Figure it out later. Otherwise, the Dispel would enable us to get rid of stuff like Thorns or Might. Stuff that we don't want enemies to have. Actually, you know what I think? No, I don't think that we do. I was thinking maybe we take the her epic to the Oracle and upgrade it into a legendary. Actually, would that be too bad? Thing is that I don't think I want a neutral legendary. I'm crazy though. We're gonna do it. This is what I was worried about. All of these are terrible. For us, I should specify. Although having access to a stun isn't bad. We don't have the AP for it though. Because then she has that as a stun, and then her ulti as a stun. She's got very good CC, and she can just use that to protect herself over in the lane. Would really like this loot cache before we start considering taking on these shard battles. And we really should consider how we're going to level up. It might be this elite right here. Same fight. You can't fool me. Can't block for herself, so we're going to take this. No. Guess we'll just do that for lulz. That is a lot of damage versus multi-strike enemies. This is unfortunate. Fortunately, Rag has his ultimate. Honestly, can we face race you? If I do this? Protect you regardless. Probably put this here. I could have done a solar blast. Math that out a little bit better. Bit awkward. Okay. This is a block card. Don't really have a... we do have AoE, but I'm not sure that I'm willing to sacrifice 6 health on her for it. Otherwise, she doesn't really do a lot without other cards with might. Yeah, this is about as good as a block card as we're going to get on her. And we need it. Well, that right there is unfortunate. I don't want to say that we might be dead here, but we might be dead here. Not due to any necessarily bad play of our own, I think. Because this is a very rough lineup we're up against. already been hit. We do need to take you out immediately, though. So I think that we burn you. Fortunately, we have that one relic, so we're able to do that. That hurts. Good thing we have that pocket campfire. Now, one thing I'm willing to test. It's very finicky what counts as a hit as far as... Oh, it says direct damage taken. Not a hit. Okay. Fortunate. Alan can block himself. We're going to do this. In fact, I think we can do one better. Cannot, because we do... Oh, we do. Why did I think that I didn't? Okay. So now he's free to do no damage. No damage. Save AP for next turn. He will have an intercept. And we're unfortunately going to take 2 here. I wasn't able to deal direct damage. Having these minions out and rolling is really going to help us. Really going to help us. Now that one's still alive. I don't think there's much that I can do about this guy. Trying to deal a truck ton of damage though, which is not appreciated. For our damage this way. Don't want to mess with that yet. We want to keep that. Less damage. But if they do another AoE, we would really like him to not hit the whole hit caboodle there. Her getting sundered really doesn't matter. We'll save this for next turn. Actually, let's not take that damage. It's actually quite spiced. We will get a stun. I think we use that on you. We'll gladly take the damage for that. Better yet, we can use our whole kit caboodle here. We're going to take 2. We do 8. It won't be enough. But now it is. Might as well start on you over here. Be destroyed. Well, not destroyed, but I'm sure you get the idea. Oh, this is actually interesting. Yeah, we're gonna have to in after this one. But we should live. Should we live? Starting to have doubts. We didn't draw any damage. So we'll do 1. You're down to 8. We need everything. That's a big oof. Needed 1 more AP. I probably misplayed that. You can feel free to leave that down in the comments below, what I did there. I can't honestly believe that that there wasn't a play there. Explorer's Boots would be good if we had a problem with too much action points, which we don't. I almost think that we take Training Bow. Ooh, okay. Axe Throw is interesting because it will be a 1 cost because it's ranged. It will be a 0, it's basically 6 free damage, which is equivalent to our fireballs, so we could take out a fireball. Nature Bolt on Ragnarok, again, pretty good. Of course, assuming that Leon's actually going to be able to get a kill is relatively ridiculous. Take Axe Throw here. Take Axe Throw, grab an AP, now put Concussive Blow in here. And as much as I don't really necessarily want to get rid of Fireball, I think we get rid of the Solar Blast, actually. As much as AoE is very good, it's not really helping us when we're in an area where 2 enemies put thorns on themselves. And it's not like we've enabled crits or might or anything. If this crit for 4 AoE, well, so it would be 8 AoE, this would be very good. But I think we stick with this, especially because Lava Torrent, we want to be able to Scorch as much as possible. It's just a shame that we only have Scorches because they're not as good as actual burn cards. Okay, we're going to have to activate the camp instead. In fact, you know what? I think what we actually do this time, we always try to take the Shard Battle. Let's recognize that we're very weak right now. We'll hit a campfire, hit this fight here, and then that will be our Act 1. We have this loot cache nearby, and we can see what we can do about all this later. Desperately need the heal. We're also going to see what that is. Alright. Yeah, it's not even the fact that these guys give themselves thorns. When they're elite and otherwise at difficulty, I believe, they get the passive that reflects 50% of the damage. So we're just taking 2 free damage for no reason. This is actually quite interesting. We could just up and stun this man. Is that the move, though? This guy's going to try and give us a lot of poison for his ultimate. Or do you web for your ultimate? I honestly prefer to not find out. A little bit of a cheeky move here, like this. what we get, right? That was actually, I did not realize that this is a combo. It's very good that we took that axe throw. Otherwise, the Scourge would do it. So we have enough cards to enable it, especially with our current setup, but... Whew. And then just because it's there, we're going to set these out because these aren't going to die. Unfortunate about this man right here, though. And we didn't grab another one. Oofda. Oh, apply Dispel to all heroes and enemies. I was like, where the heck did his thorns go? That's actually quite good for us. Good thing we actually got that Cleaver Strike. Again, it's going to be relatively easy for him to tank poison. Go ahead and we'll actually hold up. Is this going to get a kill over here? Play our whole hand. Going to take 8. 12, you're down to 22. This will go down to 18. Going to do 8 damage next turn. You're going to take 6 because she's going to add 1 burn. Actually, that's 5. So we'd need to do an extra 5 damage to kill you before you ulti. Still think we do that, though. Five poison is a little rough, though. Not gonna lie. Oh, well, here we go with this again. How I think we do this? Actually, that wasn't even necessary. Which is the saddest of outcomes. We even... We have a stun for next... This is pretty much over. I haven't had a lot of good use with this Ragnarok ulti, but it's actually been coming through. You actually want to make sure that we do one of these first. Otherwise that would have counted as our first ranged attack. Would be nice if it refunded us the very good. Very good rate, and we can put it on Aurora if we need to. Otherwise, Murky Strike having lifesteal, when we know that we can at least keep minions alive, this is going to make Ragnarok very tanky. So it's a debate between these two, and it's very difficult. But we really have to solve our defense now that we're going into the next difficulty. Leech is interesting. I know I'm trying to figure out a lot of stuff. I wonder if Leech works on minions. It would only be 1 health, so it wouldn't really be that beneficial for them at least. But this is a lot of sustain. And I think it's worth more than just having 8 more health. But regardless of that, I think that that was the right move. Gonna come down here. That's a lot of defense. don't really play nature cards on enemies. Draw one whenever you play a minion card is somewhat decent for Ragnarok. I honestly think that we take Poison Shard and up tier it. It would have to be here. Event. That's very good, actually. I almost don't think that we need to end anymore. But with our new block cards and we have the leech now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to call it here. Anyways, if you guys learned something, be sure to give it a like. Otherwise, be sure to leave any misplay alerts, comments, questions, feedback down in the comments below. Until next time, I'll catch you guys around.